Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be discussing the Christmas fusion going on, how the community feels about it, all of the feedback I'm seeing, going over the offers and kind of the event structure and kind of getting you up to speed on everything currently going on in the game. So yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, first off, let's go ahead and pull up the news post here. We've got, how would a fusion event fuse a frosty new legendary champion? Okay, let's see what we got here. So this is the image that shows us what we're gonna need. So the downside is it's a bunch of void epics, which are the toughest epics in the game to acquire, obviously. And I'll just go ahead and actually, we don't need the news post, really. We can go over the fusion tab, Torment the Cold. So now the positive thing is a lot of these rares have been in the game for a while. You know, obviously a couple of them are new, but we've got, you know, a decent mix of some ones that have been in the game for a while. So if you've been an active player for a while, you're probably going to have a few of these, and that should make it a little bit easier to acquire some of these epics that you can't get from their respective challenges. Now, in terms of like, are the epics okay to sacrifice? Yeah, none of these epics are like super game changing or anything, so you don't have to worry about losing these epics. But the fact that everything here is void makes it so taxing on your void potions. And the good news is the void dungeon is kind of easy, but wow, you're gonna have to put a lot of energy into getting all these potions, especially if you have to get the rares first before getting to the void epics. Now, one thing I do want to note is I have heard in the official Discord that we have gifts coming out to the player base at some point, sometime in the next few days or something. I don't know exactly when this is supposed to be coming, but supposedly there's going to be potions and energy and like Christmas gifts that are supposed to help you along the way with this fusion. So let me go ahead and pull up the new legendary here. Torment the Cold is a void legendary, which is cool. Void characters are the best in the game. Void legendaries are the most valuable champions in the game, or at least that's how it's supposed to be designed, because they're the toughest to acquire by far. Now, first of all, the aesthetics are an absolute home run. This champion looks amazing. Like, this is what the Christmas frozen holiday theme legendary dwarf should look like. It's not a reskin. I love the pauldrons with like the ice sticking out of them, like the frozen spikes, the hammer with the perfect amount of blue contrast, and the spiky handle is cool. Everything from the boots to the helm to the shoulders, the cape is absolutely incredible. We can see how as it scales down, it gets frosty towards the end and just like gets slowly frozen as it descends. The aesthetics, Raid usually does a really good job with the aesthetics, and this is no different. This dwarf, this legendary looks absolutely incredible. So let's go over the abilities and kind of grade the champion first here. We've got an A1 that is AoE with a 15% chance of placing a freeze debuff for one turn. Instantly activates the skill whenever an enemy under both a freeze and an HP burn debuff takes damage from an HP burn debuff based on defense. So we have a defense-based character. That is good. And we can also see that we can book that chance up from 15 to 25. So a pretty good A1. AoE with freeze, it instantly activates off of something. It synergizes, a pretty cool A1. The A2 is remove all buffs from a target enemy, then attacks the target 2 times, steals all buffs instead if the target is under a freeze debuff. Will ignore defense if the target is under both a freeze and an HP burn. Okay, pretty cool ability there. Then we've got an A3 that is attack all enemies, places a block buffs debuff and a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns on enemies under freeze. Has a 60% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn on enemies not under a freeze. So we've got a little bit of utility there no matter what. Decrease the cooldown of 1 random skill of each ally by 1 turn for every enemy attacked under both a freeze and an HP burn. Wow, that last part, insane synergy. If you can pair this guy with somebody like an Ignatius that has AoE HP burn and get that to synergize, get your speed tune right, and get everything to line up, wow, you can get a lot of value out of that. Okay, so let's get the passive here. We've got a passive effect, a 15% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the enemy each time they receive a buff. get healed, or have their turn meter filled. Now, obviously, this is kind of intended to be impactful for the arena, because what are we doing in the arena? We're buffing and buffing turn meter. So, wow, it's a 15% chance that we can book up to a 25% chance every time they receive a buff and every time they get their turn meter filled. So, wow, it's going to be amazing versus Arbiter setups. The 15% chance applies for each effect individually in cases where an enemy receives multiple of these effects at the same time. Wow, so it's going to just like keep trying to proc over and over, increasing the likelihood that it will actually land. Then we get an active effect that revives the champion to 100% HP when killed and places a freeze debuff on the champion for 1 turn. Okay, so that passive is pretty insane for dungeons and arena. Basically anywhere in the game besides the clan boss, this passive is absolutely ridiculous. Then we've got an aura here that's defense in all battles by 33%, an amazing aura. It's all battles, it's a good percent, it's defense, an incredible aura. So very good passive, very good aura, and a pretty cool kit that offers some synergistic utility to pair well with some other good champions in the game. The base speed's 94. I don't know if I went over that yet. I don't remember, but it's basically like a little bit on the low end for a legendary. The average speed of legendaries is probably about 97 to 99, somewhere in there. So 94 is a bit low, but as long as we get good enough gear, we can make up for that. So okay, overall impressions. I've got some grades here on my notes. Okay, so for the campaign, I gave him an A. Lots of AoE, lots of freezes for sustain. Is a defense character, Void, so we'll probably be able to be a nightmare campaign farmer and do a pretty good job there. So, and we'll also help you immensely with like CCing and 3-starring the campaign. So yeah, I gave him an A. You could almost argue an A+. For dungeons, I gave him an A. You could almost argue an A+ again. It's just tough because I haven't seen him in action yet to really dive in and test this stuff. But yeah, lots of, you know, CC, synergizing abilities based on defense, amazing for dungeons. Gave him an A. Arena, I gave him an A+. He's gonna help counter the crazy like buff speed meta. So A+ in the arena, he's gonna be insane. He's gonna basically guarantee you getting 2 gold 4, and will probably help you on your quest to getting platinum as well if you're able to get this guy for the arena. Clan boss, I gave him a D. He is definitely not very good in the clan boss because most of this stuff doesn't even have the ability to proc in the clan boss. It's all freezes and heal reduction and stuff that doesn't work against the clan boss or doesn't bring any utility. But I didn't give him an F because he is based on defense, and he does at least bring an all battle defense aura and a solo res or whatever. But yeah, so he's not an F, but he's definitely not gonna be like meta versus the clan boss. I gave him a D. Faction Wars, A+. Obviously he's probably the best dwarf. He's Void, so he's never weak. He's got a in Faction Wars we're mainly just fighting trash mobs, and he's insane versus trash mobs. So he's like A+, S tier, whatever you want to call it for Faction Wars. So okay, my general sentiment of the fusion, when I first saw it this morning, my first reaction was pretty negative because I was really hoping that we would get, let me pull up while I'm talking here. I'll pull up the fusion so you have something to look at while I'm talking about this. But yeah, so my first impression was pretty negative because, like I said in some of my previous videos leading up to this point, we've gotten a lot of fusion champions that are kind of like trash mob CCers, Maui Tankard and Harvest Jack, and I was really hoping they would give us a supremely like general utility character, someone like a Bad Alcazar, someone who's just generally useful and can really support your squad no matter where you're using them. And since we haven't really gotten a lot of love in the clan boss meta side of things, I was really hoping this legendary would be something to kind of help shake up the clan boss meta or really help players progress into like Nightmare and Ultra and endgame clan boss content. But this guy is not filling that role. He's kind of another champion that's going to be focused on the arena and like dungeon CCs, and will probably be pretty good as a Nightmare campaign farmer, so that is good. Now, I guess you could say that Razen is technically a fusion that's pretty good against the clan boss and definitely is in some endgame Ultra Nightmare teams. But so I guess the reason I thought that is because, in my opinion, the clan boss is the most important area of the game. It's your most consistent source of daily progression, and it also helps your clan and your friends progress as well if you are good against the clan boss, because you are all contributing damage towards an objective, and it's your way of daily shards and gear and potions and gems. So I think in general, this is my opinion, that the clan boss is the most important area of the game for you and your friends to focus on. So with this being probably the most important event of the year, I was hoping it would focus on helping players in the most important area of the game. Why do I say this is the most important event of the year? Well, we've got students that are off of school. We've got people that are off of work. It's cold outside, so people are going to be indoors more, looking for something to do in their free time when they're off of work or off of school. People have free time, they're hanging out, looking for something to do, looking for games to pick up, or they have more time to play games that they are already playing. So really important to hit a home run with this event. And I was negative at the beginning. As the day goes on, I'm less negative, but I would say my general sentiment is still a little bit negative. But I do want to say the champion in general is pretty good. I love the aesthetics. I love the kit. It's got some fun synergies that as a community we can really dive in and test and see how crazy he can be in certain dungeons and the arena, and with certain, you know, synergizing with your Shiramanis and your Ignatius and all those, and really testing how we can get those to really do some crazy work and things like the spider, and might unlock a few new things. So I would say my overall sentiment of the fusion is slightly negative. I was hoping it would be overwhelmingly positive, obviously, but the negatives are all of the void potions. I really wish they would have split this up a little bit. You know, people are really going to be struggling to handle all these void potions, and I guess from Plarium's perspective, and I've heard a few people say this, is it's a void legendary, so it should be tough to get. You don't want every single player in the game to have it, I guess. If it's a super void game-changing legendary, you should feel special if you have it. And I guess I kind of agree with that. I do think it was implemented a little bit wrong with the fact that it's all void and how tough it is. We do get like 16 or 17 days. It should have been 20. There's a few random things I would change in terms of the fusion and stuff, but yeah, that kind of covers that. I'm going to be doing a lot more content where I dive into maxing the Torm in the cold out and testing exactly what he's capable of. I'll be doing that as soon as possible for you guys. So yeah, that kind of covers that. I did promise, I did a poll on my channel where I asked people to vote about your opinion. I wonder if this, let me refresh this. So we're currently at 954. Let's see if we can get up to 1,000. Yeah, pretty close to 1,000 votes, so a pretty good sample size. So this will give us a good representation of what the community kind of feels about this fusion. I asked basically, let me know what you think about the fusion, the event structure, and you know, let me know your comments, and I'll try to go over them and kind of read them all. So we can see about 80% are negative, and then about 15% are neutral, and 5% are positive. That's pretty bad. Now, obviously, the player base in general is going to lean towards the negative side, and as always, the negative opinions are always much more vocal than the positive ones. It seems like the negativity is always more vocal, so might not be a perfectly accurate representation, but nonetheless, overwhelmingly negative feedback in terms of how the community is feeling, which kind of stinks. You know, you were hoping for an event like this, it would be mostly neutral and positive, but as I kind of skimmed through the events, or the comments here, the general sentiment was a lot of people talking about the fact that it's all void potions, and the fact that it's almost impossible for free to play, the fact that it's so much more difficult than the fusion last Christmas. I do want to point out the Sir Nicholas fusion wasn't actually last Christmas. It was more of like an end of the beta type thing, or like a reward for people who played the beta. Hey, here's a pretty easy fusion for you to get a pretty good champion. So the Sir Nicholas thing wasn't technically a Christmas fusion, but it was definitely a lot easier than this. But yeah, so basically the sentiment is just people wishing the legendary was good against the clan boss, and too many void potions, and too hard for free-to-play players, basically too difficult for everybody to participate. Yeah, that was kind of the sentiment on that, and giving you a feel there. So let's go over the events. Okay, so we've got champion training event. This is insane. 33,000 points to get Exemplar. Exemplar is one of the void epics you need for the fusion, obviously. I think it's the most events or the most points ever required for a champion training event. So that is absolutely insane. You do want to get level ups because that's probably your most efficient way of getting points. So like take your level 1 5 stars and 6 stars and level them up, because that's a really efficient way to do this. You have to do, like, I think I wrote it down. If you're just going off of making champions 6 stars, you need 110 6 stars to get exemplar. Now that's not including like leveling them up from 1 to 50, 1 to 60. That's like just if you were taking champions to 6 star. So a pretty insane requirement. You're gonna need, it's going on for like 1 week and 2 weeks, so 14 days. So yeah, you only need about 2,500 points a day, 2,600, and you should be able to get it done. I'm already at 3,000 points today, and I grinded like decently hard, but I didn't go like super hard in the paint or crazy or anything. So I think it's doable, but I'm a pretty end game player with lots of energy and gems and stuff. For somebody who's early to mid game, this is going to be almost impossible unless they spend a lot. So yeah, and the rewards are pretty underwhelming. They're not great, they're not terrible, but yeah, a pretty underwhelming event all in all. All right, Arena Assault. Now this event is pretty good. This one is a lot more free-to-play friendly. It's at least doable for free-to-play players. You can see I'm already halfway through it. I did grind the arena semi-hard, but I mean, we get a week to do this. I'm already halfway through, and I didn't like go crazy. Admittedly, I'm in gold 4, so I do get a lot of medals, and I grinded the arena pretty decent today. But yeah, this is, and the rewards here are decent. You're getting energy and silver and potions and an epic tome, and it's pretty doable. This is the most doable of all the events. You get a fusion requirement, so yeah, that one is pretty decent. The summoning rush is pretty intense. Let me go over this here. You're gonna need 12 sacreds or 48 voids or 286 ancients to max this out. Or no, that's not even to max it out. That's just to get Towering Titan. When I was calculating this, I went over just stopping at Towering Titan, because a lot of you are probably going to be mostly curious about getting Towering Titan to participate in the fusion. 5730 divided by the points of shards you're getting is 12 sacreds or 48 voids or 286 ancients. So I madly disagree with that. That's way too insane of a requirement when shards are not going to be buffed with an X2. Way too many shards needed to be pulled to get the fusion requirement. I would have definitely lowered that. The rewards are decent. I don't have a huge qualm with the rewards. I have a huge qualm with Towering Titan requiring this many points. It should have been like 4,000. You know, 3,500 to 4,000, somewhere in there. To you know, I mean, that's still a lot of money in shards just to get a void epic. So I think that would have been still tough, but fair. So that kind of is that. And then let's go over the offers and see which ones are coming through here. Let me pull over the calculator. The Conqueror pack I don't need to go over. Bonus offer. This one, I believe I bought one of these, and this one's actually pretty decent. I think I didn't run it before I bought it. I just got it to be able to progress kind of generally when I'm playing over the weekend. And let's see exactly how it grades out here. Gems 800, 9 arena refills. Yeah, so it comes out to being worth about $24. It's costing you $15. So this pack in general is pretty good. It's probably going to be the best out of all of these. We're getting a 2.5 value, pretty insane there. Special ancient pack. This is the one they're wanting you to buy and get you to pull shards. I don't think this one's going to be very good, especially when shards are not going to be an X2. 35 and 2150. Enter. No arena refills, but we do get 41 ancient shards. Yeah, so oof, a 0.95, very bad. This needs to be like 59.99 or something. Especially if you're not going to be buffing shards. So definitely don't recommend that unless you are an uber whale. Divine offense set. Nah, this isn't worth a $30 gamble in my opinion. It's worth like a $19.99 gamble, maybe. It is a full set of 5-star legendary, but in general, I tend to think these packs are really only for whales, unless it's like a cheap, you know, speed one or something. But a Div O set is It's not really that great of a set. The Cruel set is better because it ignores defense and stuff. So yeah, this is one that I would definitely recommend staying away from. But this bonus offer pack is pretty damn good. For $15, it's worth like 22 to 24, somewhere in there. So if you're gonna buy any of these, I definitely recommend going over the bonus offer pack right here. All right, so yeah, that's gonna kind of do it for this video. This one got a little bit long in terms of an update, but there's a lot going on in terms of the fusion and stuff. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you think. I always love hearing you guys' opinions, especially on big deals like this. I do want to dive in tonight and stream a little bit with a maxed out, what's his name? I can't, Torment or something? Torment. With a maxed out Torment that, you know, one of my viewers has already fused him and kind of invested in him and wants me to test him out on stream and kind of gear him up and do that. So that'll be fun. I'll probably clip that into a video or something and definitely, you know, show you guys how that testing works out. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.